A question we get all the time, and a question you might have asked yourself as well. How long does it take to learn German from A1 to B1 level? So from 0 to this B1, this huge milestone for most German learners. In this video, I would like to give you a more realistic time frame, how long it takes. But not only this, we will also go through some other things. So I will talk about important factors which actually do affect the speed of how you can learn German. Then, of course, the time frame. Focus areas, all the focus areas you have to focus on while learning German. Some method and techniques you can implement so you can speed up this learning process, and also comparison between vocabulary and grammar according to each level. So how many words do you need to know for each level, and what about the grammar for each level? And in case you don't know these yet, those levels, these A1, A2 and so on, they come according to this CEFR, which is a European framework, standard thing, which whenever you sign up for a course or class, online or offline, you will see the levels like this. So A1 is this complete from 0 beginner level, A2 is elementary, B1 is intermediate, B2 is upper intermediate, C1 is advanced, and C2 is proficiency, pretty much like a mother tongue speaker. Let's start with the important factors. Nummer 1, wichtige Faktor. Nummer 1 ist die Zeit. How much time do you have? How much time can you invest to learn German? For example, if you have a full-time job and maybe kids, you most probably don't have more time than 1 evening or 2 evenings a week to learn German. If you are a student at university, you probably have more time. Maybe you can take a course for longer, maybe 3 times a week. If you are retired, you definitely have more time and you can also take it slower. Nummer 2, Muttersprache, mother tongue. This is very important. For example, if your mother tongue is a Germanic language, like German is, for example, English or Dutch or Swedish, you will see similarities in terms of vocabulary, which makes it easier for you. If your mother tongue is a Roman language, like Italian, French or Spanish, you will see similarities in terms of grammar, which makes it easier for you. If you speak a Slavic language like Russian, Ukrainian, Polish, one of the most difficult languages anyway, German might be not that hard to learn as well. If you speak Arabic, also very difficult, or Chinese, also very difficult, you also have this problem of not having the Roman alphabet. So you have completely different characters, which makes writing and reading more difficult, which takes more time. Another thing in terms of languages, how many foreign languages do you already speak? If you only have one mother tongue, you only speak your mother tongue, and you want to learn German, it's definitely going to be hard. Not impossible, not at all, but it will be hard. If you speak already English, maybe Spanish as well on a decent level, it will be faster for you. It will be easier for you to learn German. So it all depends also how many languages you speak. Now this is, for example, something when you Google how long to learn German from A1 to B1, you have all different time frames. And there's a lot of people who say, yeah, I learned German fluent up to fluency in 3 months, 4 months, 6 months maybe. Might be possible, but these people, most of them already speak like 6-11 languages fluently. And they have their own techniques and how they learn. And so it's way easier to learn a new language if you already know other foreign languages. Nummer 3, der Ort. Where do you learn German? If you're lucky enough to learn German in Germany and you're surrounded by speaking and hearing German all day long, you can read it everywhere, it will be easier for you. You will progress much faster than if you learn German not in a German-speaking countries where most people don't speak German, or maybe nobody. there you will have it more difficult, and there you will need more time. Whenever you can immerse yourself as much as possible with German, it will be easier. Nummer 4, Motivation, very important factor. What is your motivation to learn German? What is your goal? For example, if you know you have a job opportunity in Germany, but you need to have this B2 level or B1 level at least until the end of the year, maybe in 8 months or something. Your motivation is huge and you want to get to this level as fast as soon as possible. So you will do a lot more than somebody who just says, oh, today I'm bored. What else can I do now? Oh, let's learn some German. Most probably not going to happen. You will give up very fast. So when learning German, you have to have a motivation. You have to have a goal where you can work to. And you also have to enjoy it. Don't see it as a must. Try to have fun with it. Try to enjoy it, because it will take time and it will take a lot of self-discipline. So try to enjoy it as much and try to keep you motivated while learning German. All right, let's go to the time frame. The time needed from A1 to B1. Kind of the average time needed. Again, all these factors we just talked about before, they all affect the time, of course. Now, 3 different scenarios. Nummer 1 ist 2 mal 2 Stunden pro Woche. 2 times 2 hours per week, meaning 2 evenings, for example, per week at 2 hours, which is like an Abendkurs, evening class. So it's like 4 hours a week. First scenario. Zweites Szenario, 3 mal 3 Stunden pro Woche. Das ist ein Intensivkurs. So an intensive course would be around like 3 days a week, 3 hours each time. And Szenario 3 ist 25 Stunden pro Woche. 25 hours a week. So that's like 5 hours, 5 days a week, 5 hours, which is pretty much a full-time job. So this is called, for example, a super intensive course. Definitely not impossible. So it is a possible scenario, but most people do not have this time. In case you do, if you're lucky enough to have this much time, then you can go for it. But keep in mind that you always have to review. Now, all these times here, for example, der Abendkurs, 2 mal 2 Stunden pro Woche. So you have class 2 hours, 2 days a week. Now, this is just class time. And this applies to online or offline classes. It doesn't matter. You don't think that you can just sit there, consume, go home, do something else, and then go to the next class, and then after 2 years you speak German. That's not going to happen. So you have to review. You have to do your homework and you have to review what you did in class. So first review, then do your homework, and then review again. So for all these scenarios here, this is just kind of the class time. You still would have to add additional review time. 1-2 hours for each class. So how long does it take? For scenario number 1, it's around 2 years. From A1 to B1 with twice a week, 2 hours, will take you around 2 years. Für Szenario Nummer 2, it's about 1.5 years. 1,5 Jahre. Und the almost impossible one is 6 months. If you have this super intensive class, maybe around 6 months. Possible, again, it's possible, but very hard. So calculate more like something between 1.5 and 2 years to get to a decent B1 level. And again, keep in mind, if you do not do your homework, if you don't review, you can kind of triple those times. So if you don't do your homework, you don't review, you just attend the class, instead of 2 years, might take you 6 years. So this is really a huge factor. Hausaufgaben und Review. Sehr wichtig. Focus areas. This is just a little quick. It's actually not too new for you, I guess. So we have lesen is reading, hören, which is listening, sprechen, which is speaking, and schreiben, which is writing. Those are also the 4 parts which each and every exam has kind of divided into. So you have these 4 parts when you take an exam for a specific level. Important, there is also something else you have to focus on. You have to focus on all these, but try to keep it like, depends on you what you want. If you just want to speak, be able to speak, and writing is not important for you, then focus on sprechen. Don't forget about Grammatik, point number 5, die Grammatik. It's really important, especially if you are in the beginning of your German journey, focus on this grammar. Because once you get to this B1 level, maybe in an intensive class, and then you want to go higher and you see, this is there now, it's getting so difficult, but actually most of the grammar you already learned. You just never learned it properly. And this is what happens to a lot of people, or students, who take intensive classes, who rush too fast, or are in this B1 level, or take a B1 course, but they most probably are at beginning A2 level. So you can imagine yourself, if you are taking a B1 class and then your teacher says, yeah, instead of going to B2, now you should go back to A1 to review and get the grammar right. Not very motivating, right? So if you are at the beginning, try to make it right from the beginning and focus also, add this focus area Grammatik also into your learning process. Now we offer online courses now for a couple of years already, and we get this feedback often from students who actually are in a higher level, but they realized at some point that they never focused on this grammar and they need to review this. So online courses like ours, for example, they are perfectly for this. So because you will have a lifetime access, you can learn whenever and wherever you want, and you can specifically go through each part, review it again, watch the video again, and everything like kind of whenever you have time. So that's why these online courses are very useful in terms of reviewing. And of course, for the other people who take online courses, also we have a lot of them, people who just don't have to stress that much. It's like, take it easy. I want to learn German whenever I want or whenever I have time, and not like attending classes, which are like always on Monday from 6 to 8 and Wednesday on 6 to 8. And maybe you can only attend 70%. So it makes more sense to take an online course where you can learn wherever and whenever you want. Methods and techniques. Methoden und Techniken. Little quick, Methoden, just like the most common one. Of course, if you're lucky enough to attend classes in a Sprachschule, in a language school, or in a language institute, do this, even if you have the money for it. One-on-one tutoring, one-on-one private tutor is definitely the most efficient way, most efficient method to learn German. The other one is online courses, which I just talked about. It is very good to review things, but also if you you want to learn on your own schedule, or you do not have the option of a language class nearby. Link to our courses you find down in the description. Then some techniques. Nachsprechen. Nachsprechen is to talk after, to repeat. This is a very, very important technique and easy to do, because whether it's offline, online, or whatever classes, you can do this with YouTube videos. You can do this with podcasts. If they are too fast, slow it down. And then nachsprechen, nachsprechen, nachsprechen. So whatever you hear, stop it, this sentence, and try to repeat after. Always just like this. Loud. You have to do it loud. That's important. But like this, you can not only improve your listening skills, but also, of course, your speaking skills. KI. KI is German for Künstliche Intelligenz, AI, Artificial Intelligence, which is now getting better and better. Make use of this. Is it ChatGPT or Bing or Bard, whatever you Even Siri on iPhone, you can use as well. You can chat with them in German. Like you can speak, and if your speaking is well enough, then they will understand you. Otherwise, they will tell you, no worries. But these are like options. Like this is a common problem for German learners that they don't have somebody to talk to. Use those. They're robots, but they still speak German. They have a decent German level, believe me. And try to just use them to communicate. The grammar explanation is not that good yet. They're not there yet, for German at least. But just for talking, practicing, very useful. And of course, if you like movies or music, always listen to music, German music, as often as possible. Again, just immerse yourself, surround yourself with German as often as possible. In terms of movies, watch movies you already maybe saw 3 times. You love this movie, you know what this movie is about. Now, instead of watching this movie in your mother tongue, watch it in German. And last but not least, most important, Hausaufgaben und wiederholen, homework and review. Like already mentioned before, this is a huge part. Always do your homework and review the class which you just attended. Again, also if you take, for example, intensive classes, do it not from A1 to B1. Try to make it level by level. So if you have a super intensive class, which is a good thing, of course, if you have the option to go through fast, do it, but then take time off and review for yourself. Review it by yourself before you go on to the next level. Vocabulary and grammar. Anzahl Wörter. Now here, just a kind of a list of how the amount of words for each level. So for A1, it's around 500. You need to know A2, 1100, B1, 1800, B2, 2600, C1, 3500 und C2, 5000, which is a lot. So this in total, from A1 to C2, are around 14,500 Wörter. 14,500 words, which is around the average of a German mother tongue speaker. So an average German knows or uses around 14,500 words. Again, this is a lot. And this is only used or needed if you really want to get to this C2 level, which is like a mother tongue speaker. Grammatik. Let's look at the grammar a little quick. Here also according to the level. Very general. A1 and A2 is the essential grammar for the entire German language. The most important things for the German language, for the grammar, you will learn in A1 and A2. Like, for example, verb conjugation, the cases, nominative, accusative, dative, tenses, different tenses you can use, sentence structure, declension of adjectives, which is an A2 level, but most probably you will only know this until C1, but you will learn it in A2, and so on. So the most important grammar is actually taught in A1 and A2. In most big textbooks, you will have it like this. B1, if you finish B1, you have pretty much all the grammar you need for daily life. So at the end of B1, you are grammar-wise, you know pretty much all the important things, again, for the daily life. B2 and C1 is more like for written German. The grammar you learn in B2 and C1 is more for written German. This means like if you want to read books, magazines, or any kind of specific scientific books, there you will have specifically grammar for written German, which you learn in those levels. And in C2, there's almost no new grammar. It's just about specific cases and, again, like vocabulary a lot. So when we compare those things, we just look at A1 and A2 and B1, just until B1. For words, A1 to B1 is around 25%. So you, in terms of vocabulary, from A1 to B1, you learn around 25% of the entire vocabulary. In terms of grammar, you learn about 70%. So this here is just to show you that the beginner levels, these A1, A2 levels, are very, very important in terms of grammar. Because after B1, there's not too much grammar being taught. So you have to know those levels, these grammar things taught in A1 and A2. Otherwise, it will be very hard for you. In terms of vocabulary, this is something I would like to mention as well in the bonus tip, which is don't expect to be fluent with B1 level. Don't expect to be fluent with B1 level. Sounds hard, but just to keep it realistic. When we just compare the words, the amount of words until B1, it's around 3,400 words you will know until the end of B1. If you do your homework and if you memorize all the words given. This is a lot, and this is definitely enough for daily talking. You will be able to have conversations. You will probably understand most of the conversations you hear on the streets. It will be enough to communicate in German without almost using any English, for example. But it's just 25% of the entire vocabulary. Just to show you, not to demotivate you, it's just to show you at B1 level, don't expect you to be fluent. Fluency is C1, C2 level. And for this, you need a lot of more vocabulary. And if you are at the beginning of your German journey, I suggest to watch this video here, which gives you more additional tips and tricks, more specific information how to learn German. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. I hope you're still motivated. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss. Bye bye.